I know you're in pain. I know something about your life isn't working the way that it could. So can I tell you a story? When I was around 30, I was in a terrible relationship. And I should define terrible because most of us have our limiting stories as sort of vague abstractions. All that we know about them is that they limit us. Well, in this case, she had classified herself as borderline personality disorder. And whenever I'd go out, she'd become suicidal or pretend to become suicidal. And anything outside of our normal routine would launch her into a week of just sitting indoors and staring at screens, just kind of in shock. A lot of trauma. We just moved to San Diego and I was drifting out in the Pacific Ocean just to catch a little space. I mean, to catch a wave, but to create some space. She was somewhere on the mainland, and I just felt like that was the space I needed. Do you ever need that? Just some space to breathe? It's always either that or there's too much space. Anyway, I was going to catch one last wave and then head in. And just head in back to my life. A sigh of desperation. And then what happened next I'll never forget. And neither will my body. Cracking my neck and lengthening my spine there. A huge wave came in. It was startling in its power. And it lifted up the back of this bodyboard I was on and it slammed me head first into the ocean floor. And I clawed my way. I tumbled there for a moment between light and dark, life and death. And eventually I clawed my way toward the light. And I took another breath. Life. The world had changed in retrospect. So the right side of my scalp had been shaved off. And it was just like all blood there and there was no hair. I had like longish hair at the time. And I stumbled out of the water and started to stumble toward my apartment. I threw a hoodie on to hide this zombie-like scene. And when I ran into my younger brother, he said, "That looks pretty serious. Maybe we should go to this fire station." So we went there, and when they found out my arm was numb, they decided they'd call an ambulance and take me to the La Jolla hospital. And I got there. I was shaking from head to toe. So this is where I learned about trauma release. If you don't allow that shaking to happen, this trauma stores in your body for a future date. So this was like my first interaction with this physical sensation because it was 80 degrees out. I'm like, what is happening? I'm so cold. What was I to make of all this? I mean, looking back, I can say that if you don't take matters into your own hands, then life, God, destiny, whatever you want to call it, she'll take matters into her hands. And in this case, it was slamming me into the ocean floor. It was breaking my neck. Now, this isn't surprising in retrospect archetypally because the blow to the head is the call to shamanism, the call to awakening in various traditions. I'd read about some French churches where Jesus is this figure with a hammer and and there's these other old stone sculptures from the Middle Ages and they're kind of bracing for a blow to the head. A CT scan said that I'd fractured my neck. C5 was fractured. Now, I wasn't meant to die there, and this is how I know that. When I got this scan, the doctor said, "You're lucky to be alive. If you weighed 10 pounds more, you'd probably be dead." And this set me reeling. I heard this in a few ways. You're lucky because you got this call to awakening. And also, I weighed 10 pounds less than I normally did because I was 7 days into a fast. So I was meant to be pounded, but not, taken from this earth. The truth can hurt. The truth does hurt. Some of what I will tell you as truth you will not want to hear. However, the truth can never destroy you. It can only make you more full. That which doesn't destroy us makes us stronger. As Nietzsche says, it doesn't apply to everything. However, it does apply to this thing we call truth. I needed this wake-up call profoundly. What wake-up call do you need? That's a rhetorical and a serious question. You may have an answer that rises in your body right now, or you may have to ponder it a little bit. I got this message from this shock, boom. However, I didn't get it fully. It took me some more years to liberate myself from these patterns. This was just, sometimes you'll get the signal, the message, the shakeup, and then you have to kind of find how this fits into your life, and it takes a little time. It can take a little time. That's my story. It may not be yours. It may be instantaneous. However, I can say fully that when I crawled out of the water, I no longer believed in accidents. There are massive awakenings that come in crushing blows, and there are more subtle awakenings that kind of unfold slowly like a flower over years or decades. And our lives, yours and mine, have been a series of those. So, personally, I don't fault the universe for this break. I'm grateful now because it's shifted the paradigm. It allowed me to shift the paradigm. Nothing's going to shift your paradigm. It's like you will get invited, and you can choose to capitalize on that. And it showed me a way to dance differently with the obstacles. It didn't show me a way it didn't fix everything right away. There's not something like that. That's a deep, deep fix. People want that, and that's why they're continually caught in suffering. This is a deeper path. It's allowing the universe to become our shamanic guide, let's say. Now, this broken neck affected my spine. I'd also broken my tailbone. So I had all this energy kind of in my body. This was like a lightning rod into my body. Before I'd been in my head, all these like philosophical practices, Zen meditation, the body was kind of left to the side. And through this break, I'd learned that the body was pivotal. The body is your instrument for experiencing life. There is no life without the body, no life experience in the way that we're talking about it here. Now, I'm saying this because this coming into the body transformed these patterns in a profound way, and here's how. When you come into your body, when you start using your body as this tool for awareness, and you start nourishing the body in new ways, these lead one to the other, a wonderful thing happens. I don't know how else to phrase it, but as Buckminster called it, universe starts loving you back more and more. Things start coming toward you that are nurturing and nourishing. You don't need any more crushing blows or abusive partners. And no more excuses. I want to talk about excuses because we need to find those, because those are keeping you caught, and uproot those from your body and mind and from your soul. One of the most challenging excuses, in my opinion, is the idea of karma or destiny. We're destined to be together, so I need to suffer for years or decades or lifetimes. You know, I do believe in destiny. However, I believe it's more of a dance with the will than this all-encompassing force that kind of ushers us along. It's not a one-sided affair. Not only that, in all honesty, we don't have an inkling of how it operates. We just see it at the peripheries. We feel it in our sensations. So if I don't know how something operates, I'm not going to let it rule my world. So we can't know that it's the cause of this thing. We don't know all the pieces. It's just that's a belief system we decided to create, and we hold on to it, and it keeps us kind of caught in suffering. This is an invitation to toss those beliefs that justify suffering out the window and to make a commitment to love life and allow life to love you. Allow life to love you. And this may be what you need most in the world, because life loving you is a person, and life loving you is a tree, and life loving you is a bird. E.B. White said of Thoreau's Walden that this book is like an invitation to life's dance. And I agree, it truly is. However, what's more interesting is that is how E.B. White interpreted it. And when I read that, I was like, ooh, that's an empowering story, isn't it? Because whenever he reads that, he's invited back into life. Can't we apply that story to anything? What else can become an invitation to life's dance? A crushing wave? An estranged child? A growing old? A broken heart? A flower? A fallen leaf? A funeral? Someone leaving? Someone coming? Comings and goings? I had a friend who used to get excited whenever our car broke down. I'd be like, oh, and he'd be like, ooh, this is like a call to adventure, right? And my daughter, she hates to see an animal suffering. However, she also loves to see a wounded animal because, like, ooh, we get to save this thing. This is, get a little box, put some water, start the adventure. They've interpreted these things in these ways. Now, the thing about a dance, when I say this is an invitation to life's dance, a dance is not a boxing match where your arms are tied, right? That's not the definition of a dance. It maybe is some sort of dance in some basement somewhere. For us, that's not what we're talking about. A dance is like reciprocal, dancing between polarities. It reminds me of the yin and yang symbol. The white and the black are in a dance, the yin and the yang. It's a dance of opposites. Dancing is not suffering. I mean, it can be uncomfortable when you're stretching yourself, learning new moves, like learning new choreographies. However, it's also a celebration. It's really a celebration. So this is an invitation to celebrate life. I was walking through the woods once with a broken heart, and this leaf tumbled down. And I had been caught in this headspace. Oh, I was wounded. And then this leaf, I was like, ooh, I'm going to decide that leaf, you notice my cue word, ooh, I'm going to decide that leaf is an invitation to life's dance. It doesn't mean climb the tree. It means like the world is inviting me out to play. Can I catch that leaf? Where does it land? Where does it lead? Where does this trail lead? Does it veer me off? What choices am I going to make now that are different? So my simple suggestion is this. Commit right now to turning one of your limiting beliefs, your previously limiting beliefs, into an invitation into life's dance. So a catalyst for a new level of aliveness, like a call to adventure. That's step one. After that, you'll feel a new freedom to heal, get clarity, and move on. By the way, that relationship where I was drifting out in the ocean, that was my second to last disastrous relationship. I fell into another one, similar pattern, though I was more aware. When you're more aware, the pattern loses some of its hold on you. I had to suffer a little bit more because this was the story I'd created. And while I was training in this healing work to heal my broken neck with these shaman women, shamanesses, I was pulled off the path in another way. This time it came in an individual. This person came in and yanked me off the path. Now, this happened in a kind of sideways way. My partner that I was with fell in love, deeply in love with a soulmate. And this soulmate was a woman, and she couldn't defeat the draw, so she was pulled out of my life. And I could have sat there and simmered in that suffering. That was my decision to leave. So I needed something that really would catalyze me to move forward. After that, I can say there's a clear new chapter. Life, love, and life were much different. Now it's profoundly different. I have a family, a partner. We're mature. We love each other. We're passionate. Like, it's beautiful now. And similarly, clients get to experience that new chapter. What does it look like for you? Part of the beauty of it is that it's custom made. I just love that piece. So when this happened, my heart was broken, and I rerouted these trauma healing practices to this heart, this energetic trauma, this ego wound. It was all of those things intertwined at once. And to my astonishment, I found that the mechanics were all the same. They go something like this. Be with what is. A lot of us are trying to get out of what is. You can't get out of what is. Be with what is so that you can complete what is incomplete. You had a father that was doing X or Y. You're going to keep getting into that situation until you process that original thing. Once you complete what is incomplete, you're in tune with your needs. You can actually feel what your needs are. And then you can take the next step from where you are, having been there for the first time, toward this need, toward this new life, toward this new chapter. It sounds simple. You know what? It is simple. We overcomplicate it sometimes. You can take thousands of hours of esoteric training just to say this. Get rid of what you don't need. Like, give yourself permission to let that go. Permission to love life and let life love you. So, that's it. Love and rapture. I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.